Hi, good afternoon, guys. Genevieve here to talk about our upcoming new moon in the sign of Aquarius. Now, this is going to occur Wednesday, the 29th. Let me just check the time here. It is going to be 7:36 a.m. here on the East Coast of the United States. This is also the Chinese New Year because Eastern astrology uses the lunar calendar as opposed to the solar calendar. So as I've mentioned before, like every kind of culture and spiritual tradition kind of follows a different calendar. And even though, yes, in the modern world, we use the 12-month calendar to just keep track of time in a logical way that everyone can kind of, millennia ago, I believe, came to an agreement that this is what we would use. Not that time is relative, right? So everybody kind of follows a different calendar according to cultural and religious celebrations. So before we get into our Western astrology of the Aquarius new moon, we're going to talk a little bit about Chinese New Year because I always like it. First of all, it always usually does fall on the new Aquarius moon. Again, we're going in the lunar calendar. So in Eastern astrology and Chinese astrology, this is spring. Okay, this is the beginning of the year now. So this is the year of the wood snake in lunar astrology. So this basically highlights, oh geez, I had written this down. Where did I write this down? I wrote it down somewhere a few weeks ago when I was looking this up. Just like in Western astrology, we use the wheel is 12 astrological signs. Well, there are also 12 animals signs in Eastern astrology as well, but it goes by the year instead of the month. So they've just completed the 12-year snake cycle. They're also very much use the elements where we use 4 elements here: earth, air, fire, water. They also have an additional element, metal. So we don't always recognize that in Western astrology, but it's very interesting because metal can be solid and liquid, right? So is it an earth element? Is it a fire element? Is it a water element? Yes. Metals can have all of those things, right? Depending on what state it's in. So anyway, here we go. So I wrote down some of the properties or the kind of characteristics of wood snake keywords and things like that for the Chinese New Year. So this year is going to highlight intuition, wisdom, adaptability, metamorphosis, change, definitely romantic relationships. So people born pretty much in these years are considered snakes. Okay, so 1941, 1953, 1965, 1977, 1989, 2001, 2013, I believe. Yes. So, and then we're coming up to again this year. So, colors to use like carmine red, which is kind of cinnamony-ish red, like a brownish red, and also emerald green. So those are your lucky colors for the year. There is a shadow side to this, as there is with every sign, right? And there is a malevolence that can be associated with that. But for the most part, at least where we live here in the mid-Atlantic region, snakes are good. Like, snakes are not poisonous here, although our climate is changing, so that may change. Most of the snakes anyway here that are indigenous to Delmarva are not poisonous. They mostly, I mean, they're pests, they, especially when they like get up on the engine of your car, or they crawl into your basement, but mostly they're actually going to help you like get rid of rodents around your home. So as long as you're not afraid of them, and as long as they're not causing any damage, leave them be. Now, of course, 1 or 2 is okay. You don't want to walk upon a nest, though. That's scary, freaky, right? Yeah, I don't want it in my house either, personally. But, out by your wood pile, it's probably not going to hurt anything. All right, so let's get into the Aquarius new moon here in Western astrology. So the oil blend that I created for my Aquarius new moon, I call Spunky. And I get that because it's spicy and funky blend is kind of what it smells like. But let's think of some synonyms to the word spunky, and kind of, it all kind of means the same thing, right? So I actually heard someone use this word earlier this past week in a group I was in, gumption. That's a great word for spunky. It kind of means the same thing, right? Also, courage, feistiness. When you say someone's got balls, right? They're spunky. They're courageous. That's kind of the energy that my new moon Aquarius blend embodies. Okay, so this new moon has 0 fire in it. 13 aspects to air signs. Aquarius is an air sign, not a water sign. A lot of people get confused by that. They're a water bearer, meaning they are pouring the water out and giving to others. But they don't normally want to get their hands touched. Like, they don't want to get wet themselves. It's an air sign. It's all about ideas, okay? There are 6 planets in Earth and 8 in water. So heavily, obviously, weighted in air. I'm only going to focus on the inner planets in this reading or in this chart because most of those outer planets, like I mentioned, they don't change. Once they're in a position, they are staying there unless there's a major aspect to those planets. I don't really even need to touch on them because not much is changing with, when I say the outer planets, again, I'm talking about beyond Jupiter. Jupiter is kind of on the edge of the inner and the outer planets. It's kind of like the beltway. It's kind of like the protector of the inner planets from the outer planets. Okay. So, in this chart, and again, I've downloaded the charts. I'm going to share it under my video, in my social media groups. We have the Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Pluto all in Aquarius. So it's very heavily weighted in Aquarius in the 11th house. The 11th house in our astrological wheel is the house of friendship, of community, of social justice, also financial success and gain when working in your memberships, in your groups, in your friendships, your community, and social justice fields, okay? Private clubs, but maybe because in Aquarius, not so private, like it opens to almost everybody as long as they're willing to be proactive and cooperative and helpful instead of a detriment. So with the sun in Aquarius, or I'm sorry, everything, this is peace of mind, okay? Concentration and persistence with this energy. There is a little bit of restlessness from Saturn and Uranus with this chart. So unpredictability, but very inventiveness period of time. And again, the new moon, the moon phases usually last about 3 days. So you might already be starting to feel a little bit of this, but Wednesday is when it's going to be the strongest. There is temper. There is definitely some temper in there for sure. So we have, the sun conjunct with the moon, both in Aquarius. This kind of leads to some complicated relationships and emotions. Very tolerant there. There's a very tolerant of other people's feelings, emotions, and things like that. Like there's a wisdom attached to this. However, just be careful because people expect that from the Aquarius moon and sun energy. And then so there are people that will really act out either because they expect you to be tolerant of it, not really realizing that maybe you've come to the end of your rope as far as tolerance is concerned. But yeah, so there's people expecting just to kind of let everything go under this energy, and that's not always going to be the case. So there's also an issue with the moon here, hard to free yourself from anger, jealousy. This is kind of the shadow side, fear, and also being taken advantage of, unfortunately. So be on your guard for that. This also highlights really the need for a friendship in a romantic partnership, okay? There's kind of an impartial observer or kind of a, not necessarily coldness, but just kind of watching from a distance things unfolding with this energy. And then also because of the kind of complicated relationship with feelings, there is definitely a moodiness attached to it when you can't express yourself fully. All right. Or you don't feel like you're being understood completely. So we have the conjunction with Mercury, which is also in Aquarius right now. That highlights creative expression. Definitely, this is in a lot of charts of stage performers. There's an intellectual energy. But sometimes with that intelligence, there's a lack of objectivity or being able to see things from an outside perspective, because you're kind of so attached to your truth, your intellectual, belief, which you believe through all of your evidence and hard work, you have put down the absolute truth. So it's hard to be able to step back from that and look at it how others might see it. All right. So there is a trine with Jupiter with all of these signs. So this is going to add to some confidence, optimism. Good. It's great for travel, adventure, and study. There's a conjunction with Pluto, because again, Pluto just went into Aquarius, and this moon and Sun and Pluto conjunction. Again, unexpected, significant change. Also kind of some secret powers. Some people might have some, little secret energy, power, whatever, that they're keeping hidden until the right moment to reveal it. This also highlights issues with authority figures, male authority figures. We talked a little bit about that the last time, because this energy, this Aquarian moon and Pluto is very masculine, and it's authoritarian energy. There is definitely a problem recognizing the authority and power of anyone else, especially male or father figure type roles. So now we have the moon in conjunction with Sun and Mercury. We talked about that a little bit. This is just going to multiply all of the harmonious aspects we talked about. And any emotional issues that are brought up because of this moon can definitely be solved by clear thinking, analysis, really just thinking, okay, is that emotional response really the rational response? Is that going to bring the best outcome? That's how you're going to solve those problems. Yes, you're allowed to feel the emotions, although Moon in Aquarius doesn't like it, but they allow for it. It allows for it. The energy does, but really just analyze it. Really just work it out in your mind before you actually allow that emotion to come to full thought. Keep it in your subconscious. If it's there, you do need to recognize it. You do need to look at it and examine it and figure out where is that coming from. That's the best way to deal with this energy. The explosive tempers and all of that, not the best way. Also, staying in close contact with loved ones, people that know you, that keep you grounded, that keep you out of your thoughts so much, okay? This energy, though, does also bring a little bit of a tendency to gossip, so watch out for that. So we have the moon in Aquarius trine Jupiter, and Jupiter is in Gemini. So this is going to lend to an optimistic, generous success, and all of this kind of radiates. It's an inner thing, and it's radiating onto others. So everybody's going to kind of feel that energy, which is a really good thing. This also brings the possibility of being able to win some legal disputes and success in that field. This highlights people who are really idealistic by nature. We have the moon conjunct with Pluto. We talked about this a little bit, but this is something to look out for. This is all terrible. I will highlight the problem child. There's really only one problem aspect in this chart, and it's not really as bad as in previous new moons, so which is good, but we'll get to that in a minute. So there is a potential for unnecessary conflicts with family members at this time, emotional outbursts, because due to radical personal change, again, there is a little darkness to this. This is highlighting pathological connections to the mother. And this actually comes, unfortunately, from the mother projected onto the child, but then the child, then especially for females, into adulthood can't seem to separate themselves from this pathological attachment. This is kind of a very coercive and negative connection. It's kind of like this is telling mom, let go, mom. Okay. This is potentially, at best, this energy is extremely codependent. Think about the child having to be responsible for the adult parent, female parents' feelings and their well-being. That is extremely codependent. And then as a child turns into an adult child, like, and trying to like get their own independence, the mother figure is just not letting go. Like, I need you, I need you, I need you, I need you. But then turning around and making it all seem like the child's fault. It's never the child's fault in that case. So like I said, that is borderline extremely codependent at best. But let's face it, that's abusive. That's abusive behavior. And this energy right here needs you to work through that and let it go. Let it go. Whether you were the female child dealing with a mother like that, or whether you're a mother like that can't let go of your female adult child. Let go. It is dangerous. It's toxic. It needs to stop. All right. So, moving on. We have Mercury in Aquarius. This highlights writing. Mercury in Aquarius does not care what they are writing as long as they get the chance to write. They'd rather be creative about it, but if it's a scientific thing, if it is just a description, if it is typing up a transcript of somebody speaking, they love it. This is Mercury loves it. This highlights foreign language, abstract ideas, science, intuition, and predictions. Okay. There is definitely a universal mind or a hive mind energy with this. With this aspect, a lot of other people just can't perceive or understand how Mercury in Aquarius can know things, like just perceive things and know things without ever being told. It does add to a surface level of, Mercury does definitely enjoy being in Aquarius, but it adds to a surface level of a little bit of flightiness, a little bit of just like surface level connections, friendships, whatever, because like Mercury in Aquarius can see the depths and really doesn't want to force the other people to bring it up. So they just want to keep it friendly, keep it light. Okay. So let's see what else. This is also quick but chaotic thinking. Okay, definitely some flexibility here, so that's a good thing. But chaotic, the quick thinking can be good for athletes, can be good for people like that need to make a split-second decision for safety or whatever. But it can seem very erratic. The Mercury in the sign also wants to uncover all the truths and leave nothing unexplained. The only thing they really want to focus on, everything is a challenge that needs to be solved. Once they figure out the puzzle, once they figure out the challenge, not interested anymore. And like that's kind of, I guess, what can appear as cold as well in this communication style. They're not doing it though to expose or to make people feel bad or to like bring harm. They just are doing it for clarification and analysis purposes. And Mercury in the sun as well does not run from problems. Like they are sit here, face it, talk about it, uncover it, let's deal with it. You can't fix it until we know what it is, right? A lot of people are scared of that kind of energy, and I guess that's understandable. But really, that's the only way to fix a problem is to know what the problem is. So now we have Venus in Pisces. Venus in Pisces actually loves to be in Pisces. Love is fully expressed in this sign. But unfortunately in romantic relationships and sometimes to feel really secure and really know the bond is strong, Venus in Pisces will go to the depths, reach extreme lows in their relationship or in this energy before they can then feel the extreme high, the joy, the love, the passion, and all of that. Okay. You definitely need to, because Venus loves being in the sign, though it is very a sensitive, compassionate sign. You got to watch out for excessive vulnerability, like putting yourself out there to be taken advantage of. Okay. But again, in the right relationship with the right person, that vulnerability is a good thing. That's the only way that love bond is going to grow. So we have trine Mars, Venus in Pisces is trine Mars in Cancer right now. This brings a definitely considerate and kindness to love, relationships, and friendships. This brings many friends, brings great creative energy. And this energy finally is a relaxed, not a rushed energy like we kind of really felt a lot of during Capricorn season. Capricorn season is go, 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 task, 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 get it done, get it done, get it done. And now we can finally relax a little bit. We have Venus sextile to Uranus and Taurus. Now, this is, again, highlighting an emotionally independent nature, though a little bit detached. Does not necessarily like long-term relationships, but it can easily get into relationships because of the friendly vibe, because of just maybe, you know, extra sizzly little spark, little spunkiness that it draws people to them and them to people. Unfortunately, a lot of these relationships under this planetary transit, though, don't last if they are started now. We have Neptune. Venus in Pisces is conjunct with Neptune in Pisces. Obviously, they're in the same sign. So this, unfortunately, guard yourself against this disappointment and mistakes in love. In short-term relationships, okay? But once you find the right relationship, very devoted, very faithful, it's long-lasting, okay? We're good to Mars in Cancer. We talked about this last time. Mars doesn't really like being in Cancer. Mars is a planet of action. Cancer is a sign of feeling. So Mars isn't really comfortable here. So this might really bring in an emotional, moody vibe a little bit. Too much complicated emotion is going to really bring Mars down. Also because of that, might be a little bit of difficulty in expressing desires, and because of that, not really getting what you want because you don't know how to express it correctly or fully, or easily for other people to understand. Okay. Now, Mars is trine, Venus. Well, hold on. Mars, yeah, I said trine Venus, and it's also trine Saturn and Pisces. So this is going to give a little bit more of that hard work, though, working tirelessly, excellent organizational skills, and in relationships especially, and probably domestic situations, really thrives, need stability, are not really big risk takers when it comes to their own home, their own safe relationships, okay? Does not like any instability or risk. All right, so we have Mars sextile Uranus and Taurus. So this is going to bring about some of these unusual and occult interests. And we talked about this before, highlighted before. I'll just mention it again really quickly. Two different directions this energy can go: either extremist political movements and anarchist groups. Okay, that's dangerous. Or channeling that desire, that interest into positive, into constructing, into engineering. And a lot of top athletes actually have this placement because it gives, like, again, inventiveness, quick thinking, quick judgment, quick bursts of energy. Okay. And again, this new moon is on Wednesday. It's not today, but we're leading up to it. Lastly, I want to talk about Jupiter and Gemini. Now, Jupiter's been in Gemini for a while. Just a reminder, this brings a friendly atmosphere vibe. Definitely Jupiter likes being in Gemini. A lot of knowledge, travel is highlighted, medicine, just a lot of energy. Jupiter works great in Gemini, but there is a lot of surface level friendship communications, just flightiness maybe, but it's just a very friendly, bouncy kind of vibe. So maybe not a whole lot of depth there. The biggest, and this is where I'm going to highlight the biggest issue besides the one we talked about earlier with the whole mother-daughter dynamic, is Jupiter in Gemini is square Saturn in Pisces. So this is biggest, and if you look at the chart, you'll see what I'm talking about. That red line is the kind of the biggest negative and problem child of this specific new moon, is those contradictory possibilities. Again, are you going to take the risk, or are you going to follow an opportunity, or are you going to compromise and stay stuck where you are? There is safety in staying with what is known, for sure, but nothing exciting ever happens. Nothing is going to change if you stay in safety. Or are you going to take the risk? Are you going to take that opportunity? Are you going to jump on it when you get the chance to? And are you going to know which one is the right one to do? That's energy that we're going to be working with. We worked with it last month. We're still working with that. So again, I can't tell you how to solve it. This is just the energy. This is a possibility here. This is affecting a lot of people. A lot of people are probably stuck in that same kind of holding pattern a little bit, but you got to do something. You got to make a move. You got to do it. And because if you don't, then things again start to change around you and you're still stuck and haven't moved anywhere. You haven't done anything. You haven't accomplished anything. So, again, those outer planets are still going to be there. They're there for a while. There's no major aspects to them, though. So Saturn is still in Pisces. Uranus is still in Taurus. Neptune is still in Pisces. And Pluto is in Aquarius. So, anyway, enjoy the new moon. Again, this should feel a whole lot lighter, a whole lot airier than the last new moon, the last month or so under Capricorn energy. But there's definitely, it's time to be creative, inventive, spunky, diffuse my oil blend, sage if you have to. You probably should clean out like all of that, like get some lightheartedness into the occasion. Go Eagles. Eagles are playing later today at 3. Hopefully by the time I actually publish this, they will have won the game against the Commanders and will be advancing to play the Bills because I really want a Bills-Eagles Super Bowl. That's just me personally, though. All right, guys. Happy Sunday, fun day. Happy full moon, and we'll see you soon. Bye.